So tensions were really rising at Victorville. I don't care where you are. Any prison that you're on, anywhere. It can be the most... You could be doing time on a horse ranch with a bunch of farmers. They're like, all right, hand scrub your flannels. You're like, oh, do I have to? Yes. Or you don't get extra pea soup. There's places like that, I think. I don't know. I made that up, but there's some soft prisons out there. But it doesn't matter where you're doing time. Just think about it. You are with men in a contained area. And when you're around people in that close of proximity, sparks can it's like rubbing rocks together and making sparks. I mean, that's what happens. Tension can rise, and you can see it change like the weather. Things, you'll start seeing people group up. You'll see, instead of just like 10 black guys hanging out on the bleachers, there's 100 black guys, and they all have machetes. One of them's wearing a hockey mask. And you're like, what the fuck? They're like, oh, I don't know. They're mad about something. Oh, okay, cool. Dude, listen to this new Rihanna song. That's how it is in prison, dude. It's fucking weird. Everyone's like, dude, listen to this new pop song. It's so cool. And then you get out and, like all my friends made fun of me. I got out. I was like, have you guys heard of Lady Gaga? Bomb. They're like, what the fuck? I was like, I don't know. I like it. I do like that. I don't know. You listen to pop music enough and you start liking it. That's your option in prison. I also got really into oldies in there. But you start seeing tension. You start seeing tension rise, right? And that's what was going on. And that's just unfortunate about prison is, especially in a combative place like Victorville. Victorville is a bad place. You're not going to find people that did time there that are like, oh yeah, that place was cool. Yeah, it's one thing you do not hear about that place. That place is fucked up. There's nothing to do there. They don't even have a pull-up bar. They have nothing. Just desert. And a bunch of angry guys. The black dude with the hockey mask. He's probably still there. Probably still standing there. I haven't been there for like 3 years. He's probably still there. I know he's there. Tom's there. He's all confused. No, he wasn't there when I was there the second time. Probably died. Who cares? One of the few human beings where, like, if he died, I'd probably, like, be very celebratory. That guy was a scum. He was a rapist. And I try to get him smashed off the yard. And they're like, dude, he raped a guy. Technically, that's not a rape. I'm like, how's that not a rape? That's just as fucked up. He held someone down and butt fucked them. That's cool. Do you just want guys like that walking around the yard? They're like, yeah, so? Probably had a meth problem. So what? What do you got? What? You're better than us because you're a heroin addict? Could do a painting. Fucking artistic junkie. What the fuck? Tweaker, there's always this weird rivalry. It's like, they act like if you're a tweaker, you're on the Mets, and if you're a heroin addict, you're on the Yankees. Some weirdo shit. It's like, dude, like, we're all losers here. I guess with heroin, though, there's not the purpose. Anyway, this has nothing to do with anything. And that's what, this is one of the problems with violations, because you're sending somebody right back to prison in the federal system. They abolished that in the California state system. Back in the day, you got like one dirty for weed. They were like, you're going back to the state pen. And like, as you'll find out as this series progresses, state prison is much worse than federal prison. Absolutely. California state prison is a nightmare. You feel like you're in some 80s slasher movie. It's like that. You don't meet guys that have done a lot of California state time that are like not weirdos, they're always a little wiry, for sure. For sure. It's California state prison, all those, it's like some militant crazy shit. We'll get into all that. But, in federal prison, if you violate, and they violate you for smoking weed, you're going to go to prison for longer than they gave that rapist Brock Turner for smoking marijuana. That's considered an essential business in COVID, by the way, which is That's great, but it's like, what about all my homeboys that are still in prison for growing weed? Or the laws are silly. But let's give the child molesters probation. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, you read shit like that all the time. 3 years probation, you know, and they're like trying to appeal it. They're like, that's way too long. You know, I want to molest without anxiety. It's like, what the fuck, man? The first offense, you should be locked up for life. But in the federal system, they send you back to prison, which sucks because you can get tugged into shit like this, where everyone's like, where some old Peckerwood from fucking Minnesota's showing me battle plans. Well, you know, in case it goes down, this is what we're gonna do. Well, what are you gonna do? You're like in your 60s. I'm gonna curl up in a ball. You got an issue with that? I'm the leader. I'm earthquake proof. What does that mean? I don't know. I'm the rep though. I was like, well, all right. It's always some, yeah, God, the reps, man. Jesus. The politics is just absurd. So there's that. So I'm dealing with that. My drug addiction is in full bloom again. I've become a straight up dope fiend in there. I'm bad in prison because, I'm bad on the street. I'm bad anywhere, but like in prison, it's really bad because I've always had that mentality where I'll figure it out tomorrow. And if I didn't have a family to bail me out, I would have checked in long ago. That's the facts. Listen, I've never presented myself as some tough guy. I'm not. I don't even belong in prison. I belong in some like rehab with the Jason guy. I was like, hey man, saw you at Victorville. He's like, yeah. Trying to give up slitting dudes' throats. That's chill. I'm just serving off my violation. But I think I'm going to quit drugs, though. Oh, me too. That's where I should have been, but that's not where I was. So what it looked like for me on a daily basis is, you know, there's basically, it's just like in the free world, there's a number of drug dealers, you know, and there's a credit system because it's prison. It's like the prices are they're giving you a 32 of a Suboxone for $10. So they'll act like dude, I'll give you 3 pieces. 3 pieces of Suboxone is ridiculous. It's like, you would laugh it's that big for 30. They act like they're doing you a bit. I'll front it to you, dog, but I'm just doing it because I think you're a good guy. It's like, no, you're not. You know I'll fucking pay you because I'm a dope fiend and I'm going to have to. And you start doing like the, rob Peter to pay Paul thing. I've mastered that shit throughout the years, you know. I'll go get credit from this guy and then like I'll go to the store guy and then pay that guy, but then use this guy's dope to pay that guy and then get that dope and cut it in half and pay him off, but then I owe him. And it's kind of masterful, you know. I mean, it's the kind of thing where you get good at it. And like I said, I always had that mentality where I'll figure it out tomorrow. So someone will go up to me or I'll go up to someone and be like, hey, you got any Suboxone? I only got a half strip, dog. And I want to send out for that. So they want me to put money on. Okay, how much do you want? I want $200. $200 for half of a Suboxone? Right here. I owe every fucking time I say yes. Does not matter. Are you sure you can pay this? Of course I can, dude. I don't know if you heard from anyone else, but I'm viral material. I'm as good as a celebrity at this point. Not yet. But it's going to happen. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it will. I don't know if and people are like, what the fuck? Like, we try saying that kind of shit to, like, a gang member. Try saying that to, like, some fucking Muslim blood or, like, some Crip from Compton or something. They're, you know. Show you, I don't really give a fuck about no viral shit. I just want your money. All right, well, yes, I can pay you $200 tomorrow. Are you sure? I'm going to give you this half a strip. You can pay me. Of course I can. And I grab it. Now, in my mind, I really do plan on paying it back. You know, I'm not a complete piece of shit, but I am a piece of shit because I'm relying on my parents. Sorry. And I'm relying on Karina, thinking that they'll bail me out. Karina, this is her first term with me now. So she's not used to the dope fiend shit. Like, baby, I really need to get an MP3 player. Honey, I need these new Adidases. Honey, they're making me pay rent for the cell. It's $800. Or I'm going to be on the street. They're going to make me sleep in the day room. Oh my God, here's $800. Okay, so that shit starts getting burned out after a while, right? And so I start getting in some situations there. So this racial shit's brewing. I really don't have a structured day. I'm trying to work out a little bit. I start playing poker a lot, spending money left and right that I don't have. And people give you store lists and they start stacking up. And it's like the kind of thing where you would think that I would have learned my lesson on my first 2 terms getting in trouble with debts. Of course not, you know, because in your dope fiend mind, you're just like, if I say that I got it, I get high right now. You think you have like some junky superpower or something. You're like, dude, I'm just going to lie and say that I have the money. And then I'll have time to figure it out. But you don't always figure it out. So, I mean, I was probably doing Suboxone at least 4 times a week. I was probably doing a heroin a few times, and it's pretty much all I was doing. And I was smoking spice with Earless, dude. You know? And I don't even know. That guy was weird. You know, you start, some of these cellies, they just, you know, they'll just stand up and they'll just be like, just bust ass, right? And you're just like, what the fuck, man? Like, can't you sit on the toilet? Oh, yeah, farting's funny. It's like, dude, you're like in your 50s, man. No wonder you're always in prison, you know? It's like my 3rd time. I'm not one to talk. Anyway, I kept running into these situations where I'd run up these debts, right? And I'd get these store lists. And I would think, I'd be like, in my mind, like a lot of guys are organized. They'll write down like, okay, this guy, they got it down to the penny of what they owe. I'm not like that. I'm like a Pice will be like, I got 3 burritos for, you know, $5. I'm like, right here. You know, hey man, I got these personally embroidered beanies that I sew in my cell. $60. I'm like, steal, let me get that. I have like all this crazy, I have like, you know, these like woven sombreros and shit. I have all this like crazy, like fancy ornate Mexican jewelry and shit. I need that. And then I'm such a hype, I'm such a dope fiend that I'll like go up to a Pice and be like, hey man, I heard you make Native American dream catchers. Do you think you can make me one for like $100? Yeah, I think I can. All right, make it. So then like I'm getting shit like that. And then I'm buying Nico tons of stuff and I'm buying Karina tons of stuff. Which I'm happy to this day because Nico got all sorts of cool stuff. And like I was thinking at least one day I'm going to have to break it to him and be like, you know, Nico, when you were a kid, I was involved with butt fucking conga lines in prison. How do you feel about that? Yeah, but by then, like, that whole generation will be like listening to techno and like, you know, like watching holographic gay porn. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying he will, but everyone's going to be like, yeah, everybody's getting a little too fucking weird right now. I mean, I'm cool. I'm kind of like, you know, do you kind of thing, but man, it's getting weird. It is getting weird, you know? Weirdo shit. I read an article the other day. It was talking about how they're trying to make pedophilia a sexual orientation. Yeah. There's like pedophilia, like dating sites. I don't even know how that works. Because you can't like really, what do you like, you like molest someone on your profile that's like the same age as you? How does that even work? I don't know. But I heard it's a sexual orientation, or they're trying to make it one. And it seems like this new generation is getting like too offended and then like too okay with stuff. You know, it's like I support, like, I have nothing against gay people, transgender, none of that. I support it all. I'd be a hypocrite if I was anti people that were marginalized, right? And I don't care who people fuck. Who cares? More power to them. Unless you're fucking molesting a child or fucking an animal or fucking Tom. Oh, I may. This feels pretty good. I may. Yeah, I mean, you're scum. If you're hurting someone, or if it's non-consensual, or if it's an animal, or if it's like a dead body or something, that's not cool. But the stuff that's going on now, it's like, it's like, well, did you hear about little Bobby? He felt like a girl, so he cut his dick off. And his parents had a trunk in and put on a macaroni keychain. Bobby's parents are really supportive. It's like, what the fuck? Are you serious? Like, at least, it's kind of, I don't know. If I was going to cut my dick off and make a macaroni keychain out of it, I'd probably at least weigh the pros and cons with a professional. It's kind of a radical decision. I don't know where I'm going with this, but what I'm saying is, like, by the time he's older, I don't think people are going to judge you as much for your past. It's kind of like with tattoos, right? Like back in the day, if someone saw that you had a tattoo, you're either a convict or a gay pirate, or both. So I just feel like by the time he's older, everyone's going to just be like, let's accept everybody. It's all good, even the convicts. Because they're trying to normalize chomos. Fuck that. I'll never be cool with that, When we get our new place, I'm going on Megan's list, or Megan's law, and if there's chomos on my street, I'm going to knock on the door, and I'm going to say, hey, I'm Ryan. You do anything to my kid, I'll kill you. Then I'll probably catch a case. Because that's just how it goes for people like me. And the judge will be like in favor of the chomo. Be like, man, chomo's got rights, bro. He already did his time. Hey, you don't fucking care about that when you pull me over, do you? You always want to talk about my record. Even when I'm not on probation or parole. So, I did spend a lot of money, getting Nico stuff. Because there is like a level of guilt. And that's the kind of shit that I would think about at night. I would think about what he's going to think of me. I was just joking with all the shit I was just saying. It's a valid concern. I don't want Nico to think that I didn't love him. I didn't even know him when I caught the case. I didn't even know that the baby was on the way. And I didn't want him to think that I didn't care. So I spent quite a bit of time, money, and resources on getting him gifts. And I wrote him a lot of letters in there. Probably wrote him hundreds of letters, and Karina kept them all. And I just kind of explained to him what was going on and how I felt, and stuff that he'll be able to read someday. But what would happen is with the debts and everything. So, I mean, that's how I was feeling. And the reason I'm going into all that with Nico is you just kind of have to understand like where my emotional state was at the time. Like I was really going through it over the fact that Nico was alive, and that, that I couldn't be there. You get limited. The feds, you only get 200 minutes of phone calls a month. That's not very much. Or is it 300? I don't know. I think it's 300 minutes. 200, I don't know. Very limited. You can't even make a 15-minute phone call every day, And that's tough when you just had a baby, and especially Karina's very emotional at the time. It got worse when I got to state prison. When you're in reception, you get like one call a month. And I spent a lot of time in the hole too throughout the rest of my term, and we'll get to all that. But it was like the racial tension, my debts, and then, Nico and Karina being out there, and my parents getting older, and it was just a tough situation for me emotionally. I wouldn't say that I was really fearing my safety that much in the beginning there, but it started getting bad. So what would happen is these lists would stack up, and I would just be like, I'd always have in my mind, I'd say, okay, when store time comes, I'll get all my list, I'll put it down on paper, and I'll see how much I owe. Now I'm thinking in my head, like, it'll be like $150. Then it's like the day before store, that's when everyone gives you their lists. It'll be like, get like 10 mackerels, 3 mozzarella cheeses, 15 tunas, couple meat logs, and, some like a bar of soap or something, whatever it is. So I would get these lists, and by the way, I'd have like $4 on my books. I'd get the list, and I'd owe like $800 or something. I'd be like, fuck. And the earless guy would be like, what's up, man? I'm like, dude, I owe a lot of money. Well, that's what happens when you do drugs. I'm like, motherfucker, you smoke spice like you're a crackhead, man. Yeah, but it doesn't cost anything, bro. I was like, yeah, but you don't have anything. Well, that's not true. I've got to sell. Well, they give you that. Oh, I know. Yeah, you're right. I don't have shit. I'm a drug addict. So am I. So stop giving me shit. And I would call, so I would get these, just like my other terms, I'd have these glorified telemarketing calls with Karina and with my parents. Call them basically expecting that they're just going to say yes. And I'm like such a fucking bitch about it. When I call them, I wait until like the last 2 minutes. I've talked about this before. And I'll just put it out. Mom, I need $800 or they're going to stab me. Thank you for using. I don't even remember what it was in the feds. But it was basically me asking Karina. She was like my go-to. Because like I said, she wasn't used to like the games that I would play. But my parents started warning her. They're like, listen, if he starts asking for like ridiculous amounts of money, he's doing heroin in there. And so like I would call and Karina would just be like, you're doing heroin in there. I know it. She's all hormonal because she's, she just had a baby. And so I'd call and we'd get in a fight and she'd be like, and I'd be like, okay, well, are you going to send the money? Because that's all I cared about. It's like when you're in that moment, I hate to say, but in hindsight, I can look back and examine what it was. You don't really care about the other person that you're getting the money from. You just care about not getting murdered in prison and keeping your habit going. So there was a number of times where she would say, well, I'll think about it. And I'd be like, but babe, you have to get it for me. And they'd be like, all right, lock it up, lock it down. Be like lights out, right? And I'd go to my cell and I'd go lay in bed listening to Fleetwood Mac, of course, and Alice Cooper. He had some program out there. I don't know. I think it's national. And I'd listen to that shit all night with this just palpable anxiety, like not just I couldn't just feel it physically with like my heartbeat pulsating, but it was just like the room, like you could almost feel the anxiety of the small cell suffocating me. Staying up all night, wondering if the money's going to hit in the morning. And then you could check right before breakfast. And I'd always check, make sure, because it had to be on there by then. And Karina was always good. I'd always see her last name. She really cares about me. She never wanted me to get hurt, and it's unfortunate. As much of a drug addict as I've been, I've never liked what it does to people that I care about, because it's definitely not something like, right now I'm not doing shit like that. I've really made a 180, and I'm the opposite. I help a lot of people that need it right now, including Karina. I help her as much as I can, and I'm really loyal to her. Whenever she asks for anything, if I have the means to do it, I don't even question it because of what she did for me while I was away. I have to extend my gratitude to her by always doing it if I can, because that's what she had done for me. So it started being where it was like that. Every store day would come, and I'd be like, fuck, check my account either on the phone or on the computer, and it kept hitting. So it was like barely surviving type of thing. Now, I had gotten my parents, Karina, Nico, on the visiting list, and they planned to come get me. At this point, I had a heroin connection from Tongo Blast. Who's this guy? He was in a wheelchair. He was really cool, and he would get me heroin. That's not cool at all. Hey, bro, I just had a baby. He's like, I'm gonna get you heroin because I'm a solid guy. I was like, all right. How'd you get in the chair, bro? He's like, shh. Hey, man, I don't talk about that. Oh, okay. And then he just kind of like pointed at the guy in the Jason mask. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm blood. I killed that one. Sorry. So I know that like they're coming the next week. I'm like really excited to see them. Think about how that felt for me. I was going to see my baby for the first time. But now I have this guy from Tonga Blast. It's just, he's like, imagine heroin is like big chunks of mud and he's just shoving it down my throat. And I'm just like, ah. I'm sure there's people that are like, do that again. Fucking weirdos. Yeah. You know who you are. Hi. So he's like feeding me with heroin all the time. It'd be the kind of thing where I'd have to go to the chow hall. I'd have to meet him here. I'd have to meet him there. I'd have to wheel him around on the fucking wheelchair. I felt like I was in some weird like prison brochure video, or it was like I was at some flagship like prison and it was like showing me like working with like disabled inmates or something. It felt like that. You always saw me like on the paths, like wheeling him in the wheelchair and I'm like waving. It was like very brochure-esque, And he would get me heroin. And he was one of those guys. You run into these fuckers all the time in prison. Oh, dude, just pay me when you can, brother. God's got me. Okay, cool. Yo, Leone, you owe me $1,100. I'd be like, oh, yeah. All right. So this is a classic dope fiend move that I learned a long time ago. I told everyone, and this is what I honestly felt. This isn't just some bullshit. Hey, my family's coming to visit me. This is why I'm gout out. Hey, my family's coming to visit me, and every time I see them, this is how I close them. I'm like farting spinach and shit because I'm just so junkied out. There's like raw pieces of spinach in my intestinal tract. So I owe all these different bills, and I'm able to push them off because of the visit, because people understand that. A lot of times when you go to visit, money hits your books magically because people see you and like you can say things in visit you can't say over the phone, like, yo, they're gonna kill me. And people are like, oh my God, there's $40 in your books. Because that's usually the kind of debts people are. I'm in debt, like, I don't know if it was $1,100, but it was up there. It was a lot of money. Probably wasn't that much. It was probably like $400 or $500. Still, I mean, it wasn't anything like the first time, but I was getting deep. And now I'm getting strung out on heroin. Not Suboxone, because I met this guy and I'm wheeling him around. And I had to like hang out with him. And he was like all depressed all the time. He'd be like, I'm in Tonga Blast. Do you want to play some fucking table foosball? I'm like, yeah. All right, after the table foosball, I'll give you your heroin. You only played table foosball with me because you want heroin, right? I'm like, nah, dude, it's because I really like you, bro, for real. Nobody likes me. Because of the chair, man. I'm like, oh, man, come on. That's not true. And he sucked at table foosball, too. I'd have to, he'd be like, he'd be playing, and he'd be like, quick, wheel me to the other side. And I'd like, I'm sorry. That's fucked up. God, I'm trying to be a good person, too. How do I have fucking humor like that? It's not funny at all. It's actually true. Everything I'm saying about this guy is true. All right. Yeah, that was not funny. I actually feel really bad for saying what I just said. No, I don't. All right, so the visit's coming up, and it's so typical of me. It's ambivalent. On one side of it, I'm really excited to meet my kid. Of course, I've never met Nico. It's like the first time I get to meet him, but I'm strung out, and I owe all of this debt. So it's like the stakes for that visit are so fucking high. My parents are used to it. They're literally like, as Karina and Nico are like in their car driving down to Victorville, which is probably I don't know, like 4-hour drive from Santa Barbara, maybe about that. It's like on the way to Vegas. My parents are like, now, Karina, every time we go visit him in person, he has accrued some kind of gargantuan heroin debt. My friends in Al-Anon tell me to let him get his throat slit. That's what they tell me in Al-Anon. They're like, oh no, no. Let him get butt fucked. My dad's like, butt fucked? Really? They're like, that's what they do sometimes when they're mad. Sometimes they don't even owe money. Sometimes they just butt fuck because that's what they do in prison. Everybody's obsessed with that. Fellow convicts, you ever have that? Where like, you have a girlfriend and you're like, all right, babe, I'm kind of bored. Like, you want to do anal? They're like, ew. Does that mean you were fucking fools in the joint? And you're like, yeah, so. No, it's just kidding. But they always say shit like that. Oh, you want to fuck me in the ass? Is that what you did to your cellie? It's like, what the fuck? Just because I've been to prison does not mean that I've butt fucked a dude. I've butt fucked my mattress. You know? If you got a problem with that, we probably shouldn't be together, because I used to do shit like that a lot. And when I butt fucked my mattress, I thought about chicks. Yeah, this is real life. They're like, okay, I'm sorry, you can fuck me in the ass. But then it's weird. Then you're like, you know what, I don't even want to. Okay, what do you want, a 69? Well, when you say it like that, when it's like a fucking transaction, I don't want to do anything. I don't know if this is working. You're really aggressive. Okay, so the visit's coming up, right? That day, I was out of heroin. Because I'm sure you can imagine, leading up to something like that, because of the fact that I had to pitch this insane debt that I was in, that was the first fucking thing, right? Second thing is I'm meeting my kid for the first time, and I don't care who you are. If you've been in that situation, it's an ugly situation. It stresses you out. You feel bad. If you already have the predisposition of being a heroin addict and there's heroin in there, you're probably going to self-medicate just because it's such a difficult thing to wrap your head around. You know, there's always going to be people that are like, well, you're just a piece of shit. You didn't want to change. It's like, well, no, my entire social development was based on drug addiction. This is like a very heavy thing, meeting my child for the first time. You know, it's a testament to it's like a physical manifestation of my fuck up. Hey, YouTube, please monetize me. I know I say fuck too much, but, you know, I swear I don't mean to. Just in case you're doing a manual review. All right, so anyway, that day I'm out of heroin. I go to chow. So my parents, they're always late, right? The day before I call Karina, she's like, oh my God, I'm so fucking excited to see you. Can I wear a skirt so you can finger bang me? I'm like, no, you have to wear pants. That's fucking stupid. Well, yeah, honey, prison sucks. Stupid, I just wanted to get fingered. Well, I mean, Nico's gonna be there. You're right. She didn't say that. I was actually the one like, I wish I could finger bang you. And she's like, grow up. Is that all it's about, is fingering me? I was like, no, not everything, but I mean, it's part of it. So the day of, I run out. I go to lunch, and I see my wheelchair friend. I'm like, hey. He's like, oh, hey, man. Foosball? I'm like, no, hey, I got a visit today. He's like, oh, all right. I guess I can play foosball with somebody else today. Maybe they want to get high on my sack. Like, oh, come on, man, don't pull that shit. I'm going to a visit, going to meet my kid for the first time. Can you help me out? So you just expect me to, like, give you drugs and you're just not going to chill, huh? You're just like the rest of them. You're just like my ex-wife, Beth. She's a bitch. I'm like, dude, look, man, are you going to give me the heroin or not? Oh, yeah, okay. So he's planning on meeting me. So it's difficult to do that because you leave Chow. He was in a different unit than me. I was in this unit. We're both on the lower level, and his was like adjacent to mine, right? But once you go in the building, you can't come back out unless you have a cool cop and you tell them that you're like, hey, I got to run out. I got to get this pair of sweatpants, and then I got to bring him out to this guy. Sometimes cops let you do that. But the problem is you have to have a cop from your unit, and then he has to have a cop from his unit because they both have to be cool enough to let you come back out to meet each other. It had to work perfectly. So they still didn't call me to visit. I go out, and luckily I was able to meet him. So he brought me like, I don't remember. I think he brought me like a 20, which is like a nothing in the free world. And then they called me for a visit right as I got the sack. And I was like, fuck, I didn't have time to shoot it. So I ran up to my cell, put it in a spoon, added water, put it down my nose, and I went to visit loaded. I remember walking across the compound and thinking about what this experience was going to be like. You know, it was going to be definitely bittersweet. And I remember not getting loaded enough where I was high. I was just like barely well. I actually still felt shitty. I still had the chills. You know, at this point, I legitimately had a habit. It wasn't a huge habit, but it was enough to like, you know, not feel well, to get the headache, the runny nose, all that. I get to visit. They make you squat and cough, which is always interesting because it's always some suspect ass dude. It always looks like the Monopoly guy. It's like, all right, man, pants off. They always comment on your dick too. They're like, hey man, just to be honest, it's pretty medium sized. You're like, what the fuck, man? Don't look at my dick. He's like, dude, I'm supposed to. It's in the handbook. I'm allowed to comment on your cock. You're just like, ugh. Guy's like, just looks like a creep, you know? It's always the creepy dudes. They let, dude, can I work the security in like the visiting room so I can watch a bunch of dudes lift their ball sacks up? Rob. Someone else's turn to do that. You guys are fucked up. You know that I excel in that place. So I end up going into the visit and I see Karina and I see her holding Nico, and she had him wearing a Sublime shirt the first time I met him. And he looked really cute. And then my parents were like on the other side and they looked worn out. Karina looked beautiful. She was very thin for just having a baby, you know. She looked really good, you know. And I went up and I made out with her. You're allowed like one kiss, and then they like shot, hey, stop kissing. And you're like, legalize love. And then they like tase you. That's kind of shit has happened. You know, people like see their wives they haven't seen for a long time and they'll just start making out with them. And they'll be like, hey, stop resisting. So I made out with her and she just like hands me Nico. She's like, here. I got to hold him and it was surreal. I don't even know how to describe it. It wasn't as like electric as I'd been told. I have experienced that with him. Definitely like when I got out of prison and I got to hang out with him for the first night, like out of that environment. I experienced that to some degree. But that first time, maybe it was because I was loaded. I wasn't even that loaded, but I don't know. It's, you know, oh, excuse me. He started crying and, you know, it was like, it's just a weird experience for me. You know, it was, like I said, it was bittersweet. And Karina really looked sexy. And my parents, I could tell that they were just over it. You know, it's like, goddamn, again, Ryan, like we're visiting you in the feds for the third time. You know, it's like more credit to my dad, like how he never gave up on me. I mean, I don't know how he did it after all these years. Like, he still was optimistic. And man, like, I'll forever be grateful for that because at those visits... Hold on a second. I'm going to light a cigarette. Oh, Sorry. little intermission. I know. I didn't used to do that, but I used to do it for my computer and I could just like bring it out. But, you know, my dad would always tell me that I was going to turn out okay. Like, he never once was like, I'm giving up on you, or I think you're going to turn out fucked up. You know, I mean, I already did turn out fucked up, but he was always like very optimistic. And he actually let Karina and I have a visit, you know, alone. You know, he was there like the first, like, I think 30 minutes with my mom, and seeing my mom, she was just like crying. She's always crying, and you feel bad about that. And that's why it's like every time I see people like email me, be like, dude, look at this paperwork on Crazy Eddie. Like, okay, first, I don't even know who that is. Second of all, I don't give a shit about prison politics anymore. I'm out of prison. I don't plan on ever going back. And that shit's whack. You know, be like, you know, seeing your mom cry in the visiting room like that. It should, or meeting your child for the first time in a visiting room, for that matter. You know, it makes you just so over the whole prison thing, because you see the most important people in your life and you're causing pain. I was causing pain on Karina, and we started talking. I started telling her about the debts that I was in. And she's like, your dad told me about this. Your dad told me that you were going to be all fucking strung out, which you are. It's obvious. Your eyes are pinned. You're on heroin. I know it. I was like, I am. She's like, oh my God, no. I was like, I do not blame her. No, she had every right to be upset with me. I am definitely not proud of my drug addiction. It's a fucking weakness. It's a flaw. And like, I wish that I hadn't inflicted as much pain on people that I cared about throughout the years. But fact of the matter is, I did. Those are the cards that I was dealt with. And really all I can focus on is right now and what I'm going to do with it, you know, tomorrow. I asked her for the money again. I forget what it was. I think it was like four or 500. 500, let's just say. And she's like, I'm not going to do it. She's like, I don't have it. She did have it, but she's like, because she had all my book royalties. And she was living with her parents rent free. So she had it. She was saving that money. And she's like, I'm not dipping into Nico's savings so you can fucking do heroin in prison. I'm not doing that. I was like, well, what am I going to do? She's like, you're a big boy. Figure it out. Check in. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. And she's like, well, I'm not paying you for it. I'm not bailing you out this time. I'm not going to enable you. I'm going to Al-Anon now. I was like, oh my God, dude. Not you too. Oh my God, I'm going to get killed because Al-Anon is like, yeah, that'll help them, you know, tough love, and just let them get stabbed in there. Fuck it. Those scars will remind them never to use again. It's like, shut up, man. Jeez. So there, like, we tried to just kind of forget about the debt thing. It was kind of a stalemate where she wasn't going to pay it. I was like, fuck it. All right, I'll figure it out. I always have before. You know, I had other friends that I could call and everything, or email. So the rest of the visit was okay. She wasn't mad at me. Karina's one of those people that forgives and forgets pretty quickly. I'm the same way. And, you know, then the visit came to an end. They were only there a couple hours because when they got there, Karina had gotten denied to get in because she was wearing a wire bra. They made her go and buy a new one, just like they had done to my mom at some point. Or maybe it was a shoe thing. I don't even remember. But I remember when they line you all up on the wall and you get to watch your visitors, and all these dudes are creeping out on Karina because you should see their girlfriends compared to mine. You know, there's some of the girls literally look like they're Hell's Angels or something. Like Hell's Angel dudes. They have like gray carnival beards. They're like, yo, later, Clark. Stay strong, bro. And you're like, what the fuck, man? He's like, man, my old lady's bad as fuck, huh? I'm like, bomb, fool. Bomb. But seeing Karina and Nico and there's nothing fucking worse than like meeting your child and then them being like, okay, time to go back to prison. They're going to go home, and you're just watching them and you're like, wave. You're like, okay, bye. It's sad. You feel like a dagger goes through your heart. Really, you just want to go. You just do not want to not be with your kid, you know? And then they left. And I walked back to the, I did the strip search thing. I remember walking back to the compound just knowing that I was about to be completely fucked because I had no way out. You know, I could call some friends for the money, but I knew deep down that that wasn't going to happen. So I was going to have to figure something else out, and I did. And we will get into that in the next chapter of this saga. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, watching my train wreck of a life. It makes me feel better about it, that's for sure. Please like, comment, subscribe. Check out patreon.com/Ryan Leone. The link will be in the pinned comments. Check it out. There's a lot of bonus content on there. If you like this, you can get a membership for as low as $3 a month. It's not that much. It's 10 cents a day, and you do get extra stuff. They're like 6 or 7 stories ahead of YouTube right now. Plus, there's other storylines. I put cuts for my documentary up there, etc. And it helps me. I appreciate it. You guys have a good rest of your life. Palabra.